Hey everyone, welcome to the Packers pregame live chat. I'm Tom Silverstein. With me is the lead man himself, Mr. LeRoy Butler, and we are live. I am in the press box, and you are in the headquarters of Butler Central, where all the big analysis goes on.
Yeah, well, my wife calls it the HQ.
The HQ, yes,
Right.
yes. Does she also complain about how messy it gets down there?
No, no,
No.
she helps me keep it clean.
Oh, because I get some complaints about how messy my HQ is.
Uh,
You
yeah,
know. But here we are at Lambeau. Here I am, and you know what can we say about this game? This is a game that if they don't win easily, it's nothing less than a failure.
well, I just want to win the game. I mean, again, there's no moral victories, but if you look at the way Northwestern played Ohio State, close. Sometimes, you see these games, you put teams put the blow teams out. At the end of the day, in December, you just got to win.
Yeah,
Especially if Drew Brees is going to play when they play Kansas City tomorrow. So, things are going to start to change and tighten up in this division. So this is a game, an NFC game that you must have after winning the North. Now the bigger goal of keeping the number one seed is intact. But again, and we talked about injuries earlier, Tom, their offensive tackle, the Russell Okung young man, he is not going to play, neither Christian McCaffrey, but Mike Davis and Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, Samuels, these guys, I mean, they have weapons.
yeah.
So I don't think the Green Bay Packers are in position to look past anybody. And this game was flexed for a reason and changed because America wants to see the MVP quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I'm just going to say they might have been seeing him in the game before this with Buffalo. That kid is just balling, Josh Allen. Holy cow,
Yeah,
as he plays
yeah.
the ball. But that's neither here nor there. What, you bring up an excellent point that these three wide receivers are nothing to scoff at. And it could be one of those games where if Teddy Bridgewater gets some time to throw, they could just, they could turn this into an aerial game.
And I think if you look at the history of their head coach, being a coach, a college coach coming into the pros, in December, Tom, it's about playing good defense and running the football with Mike Davis. If you look at the history of how you be competitive with the Packers, you would run the ball. But sometimes you would think, as we talked about, you having so many weapons, why wouldn't you just throw the ball and get into a shootout? And I don't know if you can win that. But what you can do, seeing that the Packers need to improve their coverage on special teams, for some reason you do hit MVS on a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown, and they come right back and kick off return and score. You don't want to get into that. But this will be probably the best receiving core as a whole that this secondary will see. When you got three guys at any time can take it to the house.
Yeah.
Robbie Anderson was a guy, Tom, I really wanted the Packers to go after from the Jets, but he's there. So he just adds a new dimension. Now he'll get 13 targets. 14 targets. So this is for Jair Alexander to shut him down. That way when you're voting for the Pro Bowl for these guys, it'll be justified.
Yeah, the key is, as it always is getting pressure on the quarterback, but especially with Bridgewater, who plays a safe game, tends to hold on to the ball a little bit longer than he should, tends to take some bad sacks. You got to get some pressure on him. So they have to decide. Patton has to decide: are you gonna put some heat on him, or are you going to sit back in his zone and just make sure that they don't get behind you? What do you think he does?
Well, he's been sacked 26 times. That's kind of middle of the pack. I think for the most part, if you're going to throw the football, you're playing into the hands of the Green Bay Packers because of all the packages. If Rashad Gary is able, him and Kiki can rotate in there at times, you can put the Smith brothers in there and say, hey, listen, just go after the quarterback. Now, that puts a lot of stress on the linebackers to be great tacklers. But at the end of the day, it's about getting stops. You must get stops because for some reason, if the Carolina Panthers can put together, Tom, these long 7 and 8 minute drives, that keep Aaron Rodgers on the sideline. So if it were me, it'd be a lot of combination stuff real quick. Once Teddy Bridgewater sees Amos in the box, he's going to run the ball. If he see Amos back, he'll throw it. So Amos is going to replace Raven Green, that one position, like their dime and nickel. So it's kind of going to be a chess match. But it feels me, Bridgewater does not take a lot of chances in the red zone. I will blitz him in the red zone. And in the field, I will play a lot of combination coverages. In other words, I will let Jair Alexander follow Robbie Anderson around and play combination zone behind him, sort of like what they did when they played the Houston Texans, when they played a quarterback that likes to run around the pocket like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Defense, for some of its failures against the Lions last week, was not that horrible. I mean, it was actually pretty decent, but that needs to be a step. They need to take a step, don't they? Another step here.
Agreed. I mean, great point. The last few games, they've been trending up. You savage sacks, interceptions. They need guys to start to play their best football without, having preseason time. And you're playing in a pandemic. Things are going to be kind of unorthodox at times, because what I call them, the babies, they're young guys, 51, 54, all of these guys, they're going to get a lot of play action. You're going to make these guys think a lot. So all they have to do is make sure Kenny Clark, who had a great game last week, he got to get penetration. But, Tom, I cannot leave without saying this. Aaron Jones must be the MVP today, okay, of this game. He has to get 25 touches. Aaron must throw him the ball 5 or 6 times, get at least 19 yards, 19 carries. And then if Aaron can put up the normal 3 touchdowns like he always does, I think they'll be into the 30s. And if they go to Carolina in the teens or even 20s, they'll win the game.
Do you want to see more of their 3-backs? So maybe a couple of 2-back sets with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, and maybe a little bit more of A.J. Dillon today?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that was something Mike McCarthy did back in the day. He used 3 backs at one point with 1 wide receiver and play action, trying to throw it deep at times. But ball control, running the ball, stretch plays, I would love that. And then now you can motion Aaron Jones out like a receiver, and hopefully a linebacker follows him. But the Carolina Panthers, Tom, they play a 4-3 defense. And you think about some of the 4-3 defense that gave them trouble, Colts and Tampa Bay. So you look at that, and Minnesota. So you're thinking, why is it an issue with 4-3 teams? Because you're always rushing 4 all of the time. And again, I think isn't it like 35 degrees overcast in Green Bay, something like that? When the weather drops, you got to run the football with Aaron Jones. And if they did the 3-back set, almost like a wishbone with A.J. Dillon, who should have fresh legs because he's been out with COVID, I think that would be a remarkable something that Carolina Panthers have not seen yet.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, I expect them to use Jones and Williams together at some point. And it probably, in order to try to get Carolina out of that 4-3 and try to get them more into the, their nickel packages, which would be more natural. They can do more play action. So it'll be kind of interesting if they go to that kind of a thing. Yeah. And then just from a, pass rush standpoint, do they worry you? Does Carolina? They've got a couple guys who can get after it. Jeremy Chin, Brian Burns from your alma mater.
Yeah,
they don't have a ton of sacks, but maybe that's because their secondary isn't that good. But they have a couple guys who can get after it.
Yeah, Chin's a player. I mean, the guy had like 2 touchdowns inside of a minute. I mean, he's a real player. Again, you mentioned Burns from Florida State. They have nothing to lose, Tom. So you'll see them blitz from the weak side a lot. That'll be from the backside where Aaron Rodgers can't necessarily see, but that's the strength of the offense because that's David Bakhtiari, the best left tackle in football. And you'll see Robert Tonyan is the move guy. Earlier, the move guy was 49 when they brought him up. But you'll see multiple tight end sets with Big Dog, 49, and Tonyan. Tonyan's the move guy, play action, go down the field. They'll put in Tavion Austin. He'll be the move guy. Now Tonyan can slip out and be wide open. and of course Devontae Adams. They're going to move him around. Look for Devontae Adams to maybe start in the backfield, Tom, and motion out to the strength or to the weak to find out a good matchup and try to hit him down the seam. They're going to go to these complex plays like this to start to get their roster ready for the playoffs.
Yeah. Finally, how weird is it to be watching the game on Saturday night?
Yeah, I know.
I haven't seen a whole lot of these, right?
It is. It's almost like a college, day for what they do out there. They don't play a big game for the NCAA, but it is different. That's when you know it's getting close to the playoffs with these games on Saturdays.
Well, yeah, and one of those playoff games could be on a Saturday, so you never know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got a couple of people you want to thank?
Yeah, I really want to thank the Jewelry Center, Dean Murray, shoptjc.com. If anybody looking to get married, he's your guy. Of course, Ivanhoe's Pub and Eatery in the Racine area. They're doing curbside, so you can go to their website and call them if you're in the area. Of course, my Game Day Brats. Go to GameDayBrats.com, and you can go on there if you live locally in the Brookfield area, in the Milwaukee area. We have tons of restaurants that you can swing by and get them. They'll cook them for you. You can pick them up for yourself. And I added a new brand. It's the Classic. And of course, Pick and Save. They've been there for me for a long time. I appreciate everything they've done. And guess what? Me and my wife, Genesis, we received our wreath today from Frankie's Wreath Co.com. There's David Bakhtiari's wife. So thankful for that. And it lasts forever. So if you're looking to get a wreath, you can get it, and you can get it at any time. Even if you get it after Christmas, it lasts forever and you'll have it. So I'm pretty excited about that. And again, if you have a young man or a young lady dealing with bullying, this is the best book to pick up. It's only like $10, and all the information is there. So I appreciate Bill Schultz, our executive producer, for once again giving us the platform and making us always sound good. And matter of fact, I want to say you have great hair. When you have great hair, Tom, it doesn't matter about the mask. It doesn't. You can cover everything. As long as you got that nice hair. Don't mess your hair up.
Gee, I was thinking maybe you'd say, boy, if you can really write, if you're a really good writer, you're all right. But no, it goes to the hair.
Writer. You're platinum. You're good.
Okay. I'll just add before we head out that the weather is really nice here. There's almost no wind from what I can tell. So should be a perfect game for both sides to flex their muscles.
One last thing. I did make a phone call to get you a question tonight.
Oh, do that. Okay.
Tonight. Otherwise, they're in big trouble.
All right. Great. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll actually get one in tonight.
God is good.
All right.
Go Pack.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.